Okay, welcome back to the Social Tagger Talks, all about lead gen and all about closing more deals. Here we have the incredible Heather Smokum, who has an incredible background. She's worked with incredible companies, global companies, impacting their reach in HR and streamlining their processes to really thrive. And again, we have some incredible guests for February. As you will notice, we have the one and only Tanner Chitester as a guest. February 20th, 125 million in revenue in 6 years. So we're going to dive deep into his story, podcast style, interview him, and see what he can help us with. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. He's such a great guy. Um, and I'm sure that he's going to impact more people on LinkedIn as well. And actually, I just was chatting with him back and forth. He said he can't wait to be here, impacting people on LinkedIn also. So just looking forward to that. And the number of people that are going to be on a podcast next month is going to be incredible as well. So for now, we're going to impact the people listening in right now with Heather's advice and Heather's wisdom. Even though I feel that she tends to like downplay her wisdom and kind of like it's good that she's modest and she wants to show humility, but but again, at the same time, she has impacted. She's gotten results for other companies, incredible results, and so she's here to share her wealth of wisdom also. So, without further ado, let's put her on the spot. Maybe not, because she's
Uh-oh.
accomplished as well in speaking as well. So, just let us just tell us a little bit about your background and about how you got started in the corporate world and with what kind of with what kind of companies you've worked for before and stuff
hmm
like
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Jordan. I love doing these, to be honest. I love to talk.
that.
So
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
happy to be here. So,
Yeah.
so Heather Smokum. I grew up in Ontario, Canada. I went to university in Ontario. And when I went in school, I got a bachelor's of admin and with a specialty in human resources. So from there, I was lucky enough to fall into a HR coordinator role for Estee Lauder Cosmetics,
Oh,
which
wow.
which
That's
was
awesome.
and in their manufacturing plant. So a little bit different than the beauty and
Yeah,
working at the counters. It was in the
exactly.
manufacturing. And it taught me so much. I was there for
Oh, yeah.
13 years.
Wow, amazing.
Went from, a coordinator role up to a manager, senior business partner. We had 6 facilities there. We had full-time employees. We had contractors. We had like temporary workers. So really got a breadth of exposure from employee relations to recruitment to just the manufacturing processes itself, engineering, which led me into, efficiencies, right? In the
Amazing.
manufacturing plant, we know we need to be efficient. We know we need
Exactly.
processes to adhere to certain regulations. So understanding how that really helped the business move forward and move efficiently. Loved working in
Wow,
manufacturing. And then after
amazing.
that, I transitioned into finance. So supporting wealth management for one of the large 5 banks in Canada
Wow.
and supported them from an HR perspective, but got a little sick and tired of the HR piece.
Yeah.
It's a heavy job.
Yeah, it is.
Um, it is. So I then transitioned into the business to supporting our risk management group with their anti-money laundering, which was really, really
Wow,
interesting
amazing.
because
That seems like a cool job.
anti anti money laundering is, obviously a very high profile need for
Exactly. Yeah.
banking. So moving into that work, I was focusing on building leadership capabilities. So taking my HR expertise, and I really have a passion for helping people grow, right? And
Amazing.
develop and be the best they can be. So I went in there and I built a 4-module program supporting 100 leaders to build their foundational experiences in leadership.
Amazing.
And if anybody knows anything about banking, they have employee surveys, and I
Yep.
was able to raise their EMPS score of managers of people by 9 points in 1 year. So
Amazing.
that's a huge
Yeah,
impact
huge.
to their leadership capabilities and making their leaders feel like they have support to help them grow. So that
Wow,
was great.
amazing.
But then I got a little sick of corporate. I kind of felt like, I
The
have
nine
all
to
these great,
five, yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
get all these great, you have all these great skills and capabilities that I really felt like I could be helping people in different ways and really making an impact. Like, yes, at the bank, I'm making an impact. I felt
yeah,
like I was, but I
exactly.
knew there was more.
Yeah.
And also there was more flexibility, right? And being able to
Oh
start
yeah.
my own business and
Oh
having
yeah.
time flexibility, freedom to kind of
Yeah.
be where I want when I want. So those were all kind of the reasons that led to me starting my own business.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So what's interesting to me and what I see of your journey is you did maybe being bright-eyed, bushy-tailed in these like Estee Lauder and transitioning to finance. Uh, you were open in your mind to explore other opportunities, but then you kind of got tired of it, and then you transitioned, and almost seemingly with no fear, right? And
Oh no,
oh
there
no,
was
no,
fear.
okay, okay. So can you explain a little bit about that fear and how it um, transitioned into like motivation for you to actually take the plunge and start your own business?
Yeah. Well, for me, it really came to planning. I'm a planner, right? And I think,
Mm,
being a planner and owning your own business is not a bad thing
yeah,
because I know that there are steps that I need to take in order to
yeah,
do that. So when I
exactly.
was going to quit my job, I was also leaving my home. I rented out my condo. So there were all these things that I wanted to do prior to leaving. So I
Mm,
made sure I had that plan and that kind of
yeah,
set up.
that's
But to
good.
be honest, when I made the leap, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I would leap and find a net. And honestly, I'm very transparent, Jordan. I've been in therapy for like 10 years. And
That's good.
that
That's
helped
good.
me like
Yeah,
gain confidence and really
yeah,
know my worth and that I could do
yeah,
things.
yeah,
And so yeah, taking the leap was like, oh my God. Like at first it was fun because you have money in the bank and you're like, okay, I can just chill out, float around a little. And then you get in, you're like, oh crap, now I really need to figure out what I'm gonna do. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah, so it was a little nerve wracking. Now, mind you, I do have a spouse he's supportive in my journey,
Oh, that's
and
good.
we don't live life
Ma-
lavishly by any
makes
means, but
makes all the difference, right? For
it
sure.
helps, right, to have
Yeah,
some that
yeah,
support in your corner.
exactly,
So yeah, but it's still
exactly.
scary. It's still
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, for sure. And just like being aware of finances, I feel like you hit a very good point, like not really uh lavishly like living or really um
Yeah.
kind of like almost as if it n- I mean not particularly saving for a rainy day. Well, maybe a little bit about that, but you also need the right balance to enjoy your finance, stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
obviously there's a balance needs to be had, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of business owners are kind of like missing the point on that, and where they can just like maybe having a business, maybe just like save and economize in the daily life and put that towards their business and so on and so forth, so to allow it to grow, right? So
Hmm.
I know that you mentioned that you are careful about your financial planning, working in finances, and not living a
Hmm.
lavish lifestyle. So, how do you think that has allowed you to progress as a business owner?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. It's been challenging because, you go from corporate where you're making, a good 6 figures into, at one point not making anything. So it was a transition for me. And now realizing, my goodness, like I've cut so many of my subscriptions. I've cut, you know, certain nights out that, you know, I was spending nights on dinners that, you know, I probably, the food wasn't even that great, to be honest. We cook better at home. So it's
Yeah,
just being,
that's true. It's like you spend,
yeah.
like you spend all this money on restaurants. Like, oh man, that wasn't really that good. Oh no, I didn't go right. Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie, my husband's a chef, so we do
Oh,
eat
okay,
much
that's
better
good.
at
That's
home.
good. Yeah, that's good.
But
That's good.
you know, just ways to keep those costs down. You know,
Yeah.
we have homes that we live in that are paid for, which we're lucky in that
Oh, that's
sense.
good. That's good.
But you know, there's still expenses that, you know, when I go away for a few months and I, you know, cut my insurance on my car. Like
Yeah,
there are just things that
exactly.
I'm smart about not
Oh
spending money
yeah.
on to
Oh
be
yeah.
able to
That's true.
save for myself and save in my business. Looking at my
Yeah.
subscriptions in business.
Yeah.
Do I really
That's
need
true.
Canva Pro? Do I really need to pay for, you know, the auto version when
Great.
there's a free one?
Great. Yeah.
One of the things that I found was huge was, for example, I don't pay for Zoom because I pay for Google Workspace and it comes with the free Google Meet,
Oh yeah.
right? So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
just
good.
looking at
That's
things like
good.
that in your business to
Yeah.
help look at efficiencies and costs
Exactly.
is
Perfect.
huge.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and I find with the Google, um, um, like with the Zoom, it's free up to 40 minutes, of course,
Yeah.
and for me, that's plenty of time, right? Um, if it's more than 40 minutes, we meet on Microsoft Teams, or I mean, there's not a lot of options out there, but yeah, I mean, there's always like the other option that allows you to meet. Like, let's say if you meet for a client and it's like
Mhm.
over 40 minutes, well then, yeah, it's all about having this frame of mind where you can invest to make ROI, right?
Yes. Yes.
And to invest, maybe um, maybe we're victims of a bad investment, right? Maybe we invested, maybe we're getting over that hang up, right? Maybe we're just like in that kind of mode, right? We invest
Yeah.
in bad coaching or invested in a service that we're like, oh my goodness, right? Ju-
Yeah. You know what? My
Just like that
key is,
restaurant,
yeah,
a bad restaurant.
my tip is always do the trial first, right? If there's a trial version, if there's a, you know,
Mm,
like lots of people will
good.
encourage you to put
Yeah.
money into a project
Good.
management tool like ClickUp or Asana or
Good.
Trello,
Good. Good.
right?
Yeah.
Try it out
Very good.
first because
Very
they're
good.
all different and they will, your mind, your brain will look at
Yeah.
them differently and some will
Yeah.
work for people and some not.
Yeah.
So use the
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah. 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 Most definitely. So, you transferred from HR to finance, so that was a huge jump, right?
Well, I was
Or,
still in HR. I was
oh,
still in
okay,
HR when I went to finance.
okay,
So it was still
okay,
HR for manufacturing, HR for finance, and then I went into the business in more of a training
okay. I
capacity.
see, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
And then in
so it's kind of
training, we
like
were looking at,
you're still in HR, but you're working in finance in the HR.
correct, the
Okay,
industry.
got it, got
Yes,
it, got it.
correct.
Okay, got
Yep.
it. Okay, cool. Okay, so what were some of the specific things that you needed to work through in a mindset kind of way when starting your own business, when making that transition? Do you think?
Oh my goodness, everything. So one of the first big things for me was I actually joined a program. So I'm a certified online business manager as well through the International Association of OBMs. So for those of you who don't know what an online business manager is, it's an OBM coming into small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs that mostly function online, but may have brick and mortar. But it helps looks at their processes, their people, their programs, like just basically is that senior level management in a business to help get all the
Mm,
daily stuff
yeah.
off of the CEO so they can
Yep.
focus on building the business. We manage the day to day. So
Yeah.
anyway, I took a program around certification for that to help me understand that more, how entrepreneurs think,
Mm,
how online business owners think. So that
good.
was it was just a great support to help me
Mm,
transition.
that's
And
great.
I actually through networking also found a mentor. And she had
Oh,
been, yeah, so she had actually
awesome.
been an OBM for quite some time. So I started working with her and I worked with her for a year and a half. And she really just getting in and working with her helped me learn the part of the online business space. So that was awesome. You know, corporate background, you have so much knowledge, but you're also really sometimes blocked from everything else because you don't
Yeah.
need to dig into online tools and all these kind of cool things.
Yeah.
So taking that course, that program was really helpful. But one of the things that I struggled with and probably still struggle with is the sales piece, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're in corporate, you sell yourself by showing what you've done in the business,
Yeah.
by the
Exactly.
relationships that you have.
Yeah.
Where now, you know, you feel like you're cold calling
That's
people. No,
true.
I don't cold call, but
Yeah,
but
I
you
definitely
know,
know. I definitely know what you mean. It's like, first of all, as a business owner, if you don't contract out, or if you don't have the luxury to contract out that part of the business, you're doing marketing, um, you're doing sales, you're doing
sales,
all the
all that.
processes. But of course,
Yeah,
you have to keep your eye out to outsource these things if it is good for you, obviously, right?
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
part of being a business owner, right? Having that discernment to when and with who, right? Obviously.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, I mean, sales is a big beast, right? And I know that I've invested a lot in my sales growth, and I've worked with sales coaches like Jeremy Miner, Brian Tracy, now Jay Lee, the sales
Mhm.
ninja on LinkedIn as well.
Mhm.
So he's really supportive, and we're learning tips and tricks from him every day. So it's like really trying to handle the day-to-day function of your business, but at the same time, like training yourself, right? It's like sometimes like overwhelming, right? Obviously, right? So
Yes. And this is where my focus is to come in and help small
yeah,
businesses, entrepreneurs who have a few team members to really help ensure their systems are in place and their
yeah,
people are functioning like we want them to be functioning so we don't have to necessarily worry about the day to day, right?
yeah,
I'm not currently
exactly.
functioning as an OBM per se. I'm more focusing on, the people in operations side of a business, but there are
Mhm.
so many people out there like me who can come in on a
Oh
fractional,
yeah,
retainer, not all the time basis
yeah,
to help support so an entrepreneur does not feel like they're at the top of their business and doing it all by themselves.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you touched on a very good point of like people feel alone sometimes as a solopreneur, and
Yes.
they they're kind of they're trying to find team members, but it's sort of like a game of trial and error, right? On how
Mm-hmm.
who to trust as a co-founder and stuff like that. Like, my co-founder is he's actually in the comments.
Hi,
His name is
Mark.
yeah, Mark Ramsey, and we met each other about a year and a half ago, and we hit it off. And I mean, like, we're both family men. Um, we agreed to run a family valued business, which means family comes first. And right now, every day, we're helping business owners with the day to day of their business regarding LinkedIn. Okay, you want hands off LinkedIn? We do the commenting, we do the content, we do the appointment setting. All you just have to do is handle your other activities day to day and spend some more time on the beach drinking mojitos, or spend more time with your loved ones, or spend more time with your family, right? So
Nice.
in that way, we are aligned, right? Because many business owners get like specifically on LinkedIn or social media, or get trapped in the day to day, and they find it hard to scale because they have all like these different hats, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, like, I think the audience is very um in tune to this kind of message and is really going to find this discussion valuable because
Mhm.
uh, I really think that it's not being discussed enough. I think the general message is suck it up, buttercup. It's just business. Work
Mhm.
14-hour days and learn it all at once and just suck it up. It's the way of an entrepreneur, right? When it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this way, right? So, any thoughts on that?
Well, and I do think it has to do a lot with what your goals are, right? What are you trying to
Yeah, that's
accomplish?
true. That's
And
true.
I love that you say, we are family first, we are family-based business. And that says a lot, right? To me, that shows that your organization hopefully balances and has some harmony there in, in work and life. So
Yeah,
that means, hey, maybe we're not trying to reach 3 million in revenue. Maybe we're trying to reach 1.5 million
yeah,
and have a balance, right?
yeah.
But if you are trying to
Exactly.
grow really quick and you want that revenue, maybe you are hustling,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. That's
I,
true.
I see I
That's
see
true.
there's a comment,
Goals. Yeah,
in the chat here about,
yeah,
how do you any tips for those people who get distracted by big shiny objects? And I
yeah.
think that leads into, not having balance because it's in like, oh, if we get this, we can do this better. If we get that, we can do this better. Well, it
Exactly.
comes back to having your goals and your plan,
Yeah,
right? What are your goals
exactly.
for the year? And
Yeah,
what is our plan, maybe broken
yeah,
down on a quarterly basis to say how
exactly.
we're going to get there? So
Yeah.
when the business owner sees this big, shiny object, okay, let's review how would we use that? What would it look like? What would it replace? And what value would it add? So it's really doing an assessment of that
Mm,
big, shiny object
yeah.
before you take action. The other
Yeah.
thing that helps is looking at your KPIs on a regular
Oh,
basis.
yeah.
So, right? So making sure if there is an issue and you're not meeting your key, performance index or indicator, why is that happening? And then maybe that big shiny object is going to help, fix what might be broken. So I think it's really,
Mm,
again, if a visionary owner has someone who's maybe like an integrator, like myself is how I like to think of myself, I can maybe be that, oh, hey, Jordan, let's think about this first.
like the sounding board, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Right.
Yeah, it's like well, as a business owner, like we I'm not gonna say particularly myself because um sometimes I get like anyone else, sometimes I get distracted and I know I'm distracted. Other times I don't know, and other times I just shut myself in the room for an hour and just get things done, you know,
Yeah.
every day. And so so it's like really evaluating this kind of shiny objects. It's like, oh, if we have this, oh, if we have that, oh, if we do this, if we do that. But then if you're continually adjusting, that means that you're adopting new strategies, and maybe these strategies won't work. Maybe they will, but chances are they won't work, right? Obviously, because um, if you're continually distracted, you're going off your plan, right? Obviously.
Yes, exactly. So my opinion of that is, Jordan, like you can veer off track a little bit, but
Hmm.
it's when you start going way over here and to your point, the entire strategy changes. There needs to be a darn good reason why that entire strategy is changing.
Yeah,
Because think about it too, if you have team members that are following you along this path and then you start going over here, those team members are going to be like, what the HE double hockey sticks are we talking about?
yeah,
Right? So you have to take those your team members along on that journey with you. And
exactly.
that's where I feel like that clear communication of what the goals are, what we're
Yeah,
trying to achieve, how we're
exactly,
achieving it. So when you start
exactly.
looking at these shiny objects, your team's
All
going to be very
transparent, right?
lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with transparency as well. Like behind the scenes, if you're a business owner and you don't communicate with your team, then you just do things on your own without consulting, and everyone's like, "What the heck?" I mean, like, why is he doing that? We weren't consulted, so they don't feel valued, right? So,
Right.
not like every single little move has to be consulted, obviously, because we're talking about business owners, the people who have the ultimate say, but
Yes.
at least inform, get the opinion, consider it as a group if it's a huge move, and then, um, I mean, business owner obviously have the final say, consider
Yeah.
everyone's opinion, and
Yep.
then decide to move forward or not, right? Obviously. So,
Yeah. And I
I
think
mean, it's a
too,
process, right?
yeah, and it also depends on the size of your organization,
Yeah,
right? If you have a
exactly.
larger organization, there's not the ability to ask everybody their opinion. But for
Yeah,
our audience, the majority of folks are probably, very,
yeah,
micropreneurs that are, have,
exactly.
maybe a few team members, and they
Yeah,
do need to talk and communicate. So absolutely. Yep.
exactly. So, I just want to get into like what you do specifically at Lotus because um, if you go to her profile, I mean, Um, uh, I gave Heather a little bit of advice on her profile, and she hit it out of the park. I mean, I just said just like do a little bit tweaks here, here, there. She like grand slammed it out of the park. So go to her profile, look her up, and it's like amazing what she
Thank
did.
you.
Um,
Thank you.
so explain a little bit about what you do at Lotus and how you help
Mhm.
your clients.
Yeah. So it's awesome. So Lotus, I actually named my business this because Lotus flower, if you know anything about Lotus, they come out of a pond and they come out of the mud and the muck, and they just have the ability to grow and bloom into this
Yeah.
beautiful
Wow.
flower through all the crap,
Awesome.
right? And
Yeah.
so the way I looked at it was, how am I, or that's my goal, is to help businesses thrive. So it just was the perfect, envisionment, embodiment of what I want to be able to do with my business. So
Mm,
helping small businesses that are feeling overwhelmed, the owners are maybe going, to your point, wearing 6 million hats, and they need someone to come in and help them streamline their systems. And when I say systems, I don't mean technology. I mean all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, or your team
yeah.
does on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. Is it effective? Is it efficient? Is it documented? And again, documentation could be a guideline, a framework, a written procedure
Yeah.
if need be. But there are so many ways that we can document this for our teams and for our folks, because the idea of documenting things means it gets out of your head, right? Business owners, you say, wear every hat, they have to do everything. So, in order to be able to delegate and let that go, we need to write it down somewhere. We need to teach
Yeah.
somebody how to
That's
do
true.
it, right?
Amazing.
And then the
Yeah.
team piece of that comes, oh, right, great. Now we've started taking all this out of the owner's head or in the team members' heads, and we've documented all. There's such value to it to ensure that when team members leave, what they did wasn't forgotten. It's now passed on to the person who's now taking their role. So
Amazing.
transitioning, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
Or when we're onboarding, we're hiring new people in, the cost of hiring new team members is high because
Yeah.
there's a big part of transitioning. It could take 6 months to a year before someone knows how to do a full job.
Yeah.
So
That's
if roles are documented, they're going to learn that much quicker and start being more of a revenue generator for you than a
yeah.
drain, right?
Amazing.
So there's all these things around the people piece, why we want to make sure these systems are in place. It also helps people own their job. I know what I'm responsible for. I know how I need to execute this, and I know how to execute it with excellence. So that makes me feel amazing, right? But then I can also look at a process and go, hey, Jordan, I think we could do this so much better. And
Yeah.
then the business owner and I will go, yeah, let's look for efficiencies. So again, you're empowering them to own the process, improve it, and rock what they're doing. And again,
Yeah.
sorry, one more piece. A team
No
member
problem.
can
Go
be a
ahead.
contractor. It can be a contractor. It can be a full-time
That's true.
employee. It can be a part-time employee, right? When I say team
Ooh.
member,
Good distinction there. Very
a
good
team member
distinction.
is anybody that
Yeah.
does activities for you. The thing with
Yeah.
contractors too is contractors come and go, right? So
Yeah.
if we document what they do, then if
Yeah.
we have to hire in a new contractor,
Exactly.
then we know what our processes are and they're documented.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I believe, just touching on that, I believe that many people just like own the solopreneur, right? They're like, I'm a solopreneur, but then
You
they have a
know.
team because they contract out, right? And
Yes, yes,
they don't view that as a team member when it actually is, right? And
yes.
I think that that needs to be addressed. That needs, if you own, if you're a solopreneur, so to speak, if you contract out, that is your team member.
100% because they're doing a process for your
Yeah,
business.
exactly.
So it's a great distinction because I had a call with a potential client last week and I'm like, oh, who's on your team? He's like, me and
Amazing.
my EA, me and my
Congrats.
EA. And then I was like, and as I dug in, I was like, okay, so you have one, two, three, four other people plus more that do work for you ad hoc. They are contractors. They are your team members. What do they do? Oh, that's a good question. Like I know what they do, but not maybe how they do it, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a light bulb moment. It's like what?
Oh, I guess they are on my team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, when it comes to like streamlining team members, do you have any advice or any tips there? On, I know for us, we use Loom videos that have been
Yes.
saving us for like
Yes.
real instead of having, well, some. I mean, sometimes we meet a call. Usually we have a monthly call, but
Yep.
we like send, Loom is our friend. Under 5 minutes we get the point across. We get, okay, you do this, they do
Yep.
it, everyone's happy, right? And we're like, please, please, please do 100% of what the video says. Please, no mistakes.
Yep.
Da, 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 right? And
Yep.
then move on, right? And then
Yep.
that process has been done, right? So any more tips on how to manage team members?
No, I think, well, Loom is huge. Love Loom. And to me, if they're doing that process three, four, five times, then write it down. So Loom is great to start, but
Mm,
as they do it and they refine it, then we get to the point where maybe we want to write it down because we have to think about different learners. So
yeah,
sometimes not everybody likes to watch, they like to read. We can use the
good,
find function in a document. So Loom is awesome, but eventually take that and document it so then
document.
it stays
Yeah,
in a repository and we can
yeah,
update it. You can't update a video so
yeah,
easily, right? So that would be one tip.
yeah.
The other tip for me is we were talking about communicating with people, making sure they know what they're doing. Project management tools or a tool where you can
Nice,
communicate tasks, right? doesn't
nice.
have to be doesn't have to be ClickUp or Trello or whatever. There's tasks in your Google,
Like
with
something like
this
Monday.com or
mon-
Google, whatever.
you can honestly you can use a spreadsheet,
Yeah,
right? So you could just say,
beautiful.
these are all the things you need to do. You need to do these on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Nice,
What do they need to do? So link it to
very nice.
the Loom or the process document. And then basically all they need to do, put it in their calendar and they know they need to do it. And so they're
Nice.
aware of what they need to do, right? And
Oh,
the other thing is, as owners, we do need to hold people accountable, right?
yeah,
You didn't do this
exactly,
that time.
exactly.
Why? What happened that you weren't able to? Right? That's the question you want to
Beautiful,
ask. It's not,
beautiful.
you didn't do this. Why didn't you do this? Right?
Yeah,
It's,
wonderful.
I noticed that this task didn't get done. Was there something that prevented you from doing this? And how can I help you do it next time? Right? So you have,
Nice.
yeah, you have those conversations. If it continues to happen, you have them a
Yeah,
few times and
yeah,
then it needs to be a bigger conversation. But you
yeah,
need to hold them accountable or they'll be like, well, I don't need to do this. He doesn't check in anyway.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And right here, so people, yeah, exactly. Culture. It's all
Absolutely.
about
Yay, Mark.
culture. It's all about um, you as a business owner. Okay? Because uh, I've been a solopreneur on LinkedIn for about a long time, right? For maybe 3 years before I met Mark,
Hmm.
and then we sort of like expanded. Now we're a team of 5 to 11 people, and really helping out. So there is management. Um, Mark comes from a hospitality background. His leadership is very good. So he's very good at doing, you know delegating tasks and stuff. I have to brush up on my leadership skills, just like um, everyone else. But I find that the more I don't have the lone wolf mentality,
Hmm.
the better it is. And I'm always checking with the team,
Nice.
checking if it got done, asking
Yep.
that important question, right? Why didn't it get done? Um, and I'd say maybe like 98% or 99% of the time, task is done.
Hmm.
So in that kind of way, we are growing like almost exponentially right now.
Great.
Um, and that's great. So here are three productivity tips to give.
Oh, okay. Number one, three productivity. First one is don't sit at your desk for 10 hours.
Oh yeah,
Get up and move,
yeah.
right? It
Walking.
honestly, honestly, getting up every hour for
Yeah,
5 minutes to go walk to fill
yeah.
your water or to
Exactly.
whatever, it gets you away from your desk,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it helps you like process all the meetings you've had and just take that mental break.
yeah,
So, number one, get away from your computer as often as you
yeah.
can.
Exactly.
Even looking away,
Yeah.
looking away and doing something. Don't look at your phone, but
Okay.
looking away and doing something else. That's one.
Well, one vice to another.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Number two, I find really useful is time blocking. So,
Yeah.
time blocking my
Oh
calendar.
yeah.
And I know
Oh
it's
yeah.
hard to stick
Yeah.
to, but at
Yeah.
least if you see it in your calendar,
Yeah.
you can try to train yourself to be like, okay, I'm doing this client work
Yeah.
right now. Or
Yeah.
for me, like we want the flexibility with our family. Like
Yeah.
for me this morning, I went for a kayak before I
Oh wow.
started working at 10 o'clock. Right. So
Beautiful.
other
Awesome.
mornings I
Awesome.
play pickleball. So I
Oh,
even those
cool.
things
Really
I
awesome.
make sure I schedule in my calendar
Yeah.
so then I can schedule everything else around it. So time blocking is huge.
Yeah.
Third productivity tip, oh my goodness. Distractions, right? How
Oh,
do we limit our distractions?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like really besides time blocking, focusing on one task at a time.
Maybe some horse blinders, right?
Maybe something like that. So if that's, only having certain tabs
Yeah.
open, if
Yeah.
that is, again, it goes back to time blocking, but this day is what I do today. Yeah, this is what I do today.
Yeah.
So I do certain work today. So that
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on my LinkedIn today. I'm going to focus on
Exactly.
something else tomorrow. So really try to have a focus on one thing at a
Yeah.
time and not get distracted. I know it's easier said than
Yeah.
done. There's
Yeah.
lots of tools and timers and things out
Yeah.
there to help us kind of keep that focus, but it's tough.
Yeah. It, yeah. Exactly. For me, I mean, like, well, this is kind of like the my day. I make sure things are done. I log into clients' accounts. Um, uh, Make sure that like the DMs are done because we do appointments, and also make sure that the DMs are up to case. Let's say if there's some custom DM that I need to formulate in the owner's voice, I do that, and then to get these calls booked, which is so important for our clients to get
Yes.
possible potential sales and stuff like that. So and then I we're training people to craft content for the business owners, right? That we work with in their voice. Every We craft 7 posts at a time. This allows the people to check things over.
Nice.
So we usually post 7 times per week for our clients. So maybe by Thursday or Friday, their content will be done, all 7 posts, and then they can check it over and say, okay, sounds good, everything's good, okay. Any change? No, okay. Then, uh, then we post and schedule. Also,
Mm-hmm.
we're using our team members to do that. So all of
Nice.
these things behind the scenes are going, but again, delegation is key. Making sure your team is trained and good to go with that. And so, in reality, what we've created is like
System.
A system, exactly. Systems that really, really work.
Really work. And this is it. So it's funny you're talking about this. I love Mel Robbins. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah.
listen to Mel Robbins, but I found a quote actually from James Clear on her podcast today that says, if you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So
Mm,
meaning if your systems are poor, right, you're not going to meet those goals. But if your systems are amazing, then your ability to meet those goals is going to be
yeah,
awesome. And she was
exactly.
talking about routines, right? Your
Yeah,
routine, your
yeah,
morning routine is your system.
yeah.
So if that, so it was just really interesting when you say
Oh
systems,
yeah.
people think
Oh yeah.
technology and tools.
Yeah.
No, it's the system you have in place, Jordan, to ensure
Exactly.
everyone knows what they're doing when, so you
Exactly.
achieve that client expectation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very beautifully put there, and so in terms of like the results that you got your clients, I mean, like it could be astronomical, right? Obviously. So in terms of the benefits of your service, what kind of benefits and what kind of results can your clients expect from your service or from Lotus?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, efficiencies, right? Because we're
Mm,
looking at efficiencies. So, are we being efficient? And I know, like, people would look at me as an overhead cost, but I'm not, right? This
no.
role is not, because when you're coming in and looking at these efficiencies, if your team members are, doing things when they're supposed to be doing it by the expectations of the clients, that's an ROI, right? But if they're not, you're losing revenue, you're potentially losing clients. So
Mm,
let's make sure those systems are in place in
yeah.
order to achieve, our revenue goals. So that's a huge thing. But
Yeah.
also the piece that I want to say is culture. I think Mark mentioned it
Yeah.
there also,
Mm,
right? The
mm,
culture piece, that you as a business owner probably don't start a business to manage people,
yeah.
right? You don't.
Exactly.
That's not
Yeah.
your
That's true.
forte.
That's true.
So, coming in and having a strong culture in your organization is huge, which in turn is going to lead to happy employees, to productive
Yeah.
employees, which in turn increases your client satisfaction and your
Yeah.
revenue. So the foundation to me is your people and your process,
Mm,
right? Your
yeah.
people and your systems. So I'm going to help really solidify that foundation, so then you are scalable, so then you do have the ability to say, all right, now our systems in place, we can get 600 more clients, and we know exactly what we need to do,
Exactly.
right?
Uh, amazing. Amazing. So, um, well, Forma, he's a friend from Toronto as well. We helped. Oh, even 2 minutes. Oh, okay.
Jordan is
Th-
good.
th-
Nice.
Thanks so much, Forma. Really appreciate it. And
Hey,
so,
Forma, I'm from Toronto as well. Nice to
yeah,
meet you.
you guys should really have a coffee there
Yeah.
and see how you guys can collaborate. I mean, like, uh, Forma is a great guy, and he's into systems and stuff. So I
Nice.
think you'd have a great chat with him.
Yeah, let's
Um,
connect.
Yeah, just was wondering, like, there's a interesting point that you mentioned, right? That people think that you're an overhead cost, right? When you're really not. So I really want to spend um, a little bit more time on that, and like people maybe hesitant to either maybe find the budget to streamline their systems, or maybe scared of past experience with people that didn't get them results. Like, can you address that a little bit, of people like not thinking like it's overhead and not like what they should be focused on primarily, like, if that makes sense?
Well, to me, the great thing about hiring contractors. So I don't want to be a full-time employee in your business. I will be a contractor that supports you on a fractional basis, and we can determine what that looks like, right? So if it comes down to cost, we can look at, okay, what are your priorities? And how often do I need to be in your business, and what are we focusing on? So there's that piece. The other piece is with contractors over employees, the bringing someone in to test them out is a great opportunity, right?
Mm,
For me in my business, my big thing is, let's have a a 3-month, 90-day dating period. So let's work together for that 3 months and let's see how that relationship evolves, how, I am able to help understand and impact your business in those first 90
Nice.
days. So that's almost like a trial period, right? So in my opinion, it's very little commitment to
Oh
see
yeah.
if someone can make an impact to your business,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
I think too, what are the issues in your business? And you need to look at, does this make sense? Do I know I want to scale? And I need to document my processes, whatever that might look
Exactly.
like, because I'm
Exactly.
having high turnover, because I'm hiring lots more people, because I don't want to train them all, right? My time is much more valuable as an owner going out and spending money, or my time on business development,
Oh yeah.
than, developing my team members.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think when someone has that mentality that now I can't do it all because I am trying to scale, you need the
Exactly.
right people in that are going to be able to help you
Yeah.
with the back end of the
Yeah.
business. So
That
to
that's
me, your
true.
team members are an investment, your
Yeah.
systems are an investment, and let's look
Yeah.
at efficiencies to get,
Yeah.
better systems in place. Does
Yeah.
that
That
answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, most of that's a really important thing to remember, right? Is well, everyone's circumstance is different, right?
Yep.
Um, well, what we find also is that business owners doing it themselves, when they can save a whole bunch of time and dedicate their um, time to different aspects of the business that need addressing to, but they're doing it themselves. It may be slow. They may get there sooner or later, obviously, but they
Mm-hmm.
can really speed up their process without being too much involved in the day to day, as you said. So any comments towards that? Oh, I think we lost you. Did we lose you, Heather?
Sorry, my headphones died.
Okay,
I'm here.
okay, no problem, no problem.
Apologies. So yeah, I think a lot of business owners, they're afraid to let go, right? They are afraid to let go. They're afraid to let go
Mm,
because they it's not going to be done the way I can do it, right?
wow,
So
amazing.
again, it comes back to, let's write down how you do it,
Yeah,
right? Let's write down what your
yeah,
expectation is. And then once they see that someone is capable of doing it their way or better,
exactly.
they will have that ability to release. But I get it. It's also, you have to be at a place in your business where you can afford the
Oh
support,
yeah, oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Someone
That's
who
true.
is a solopreneur, 2 years into their business, they are going to probably keep doing the doing,
That's true.
unless they're,
That's true.
making, 200,000 a
Yeah,
year. So it just really depends on where they are in their
exactly,
business and what their
exactly.
needs are.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not going to hire me
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
potentially. Maybe they will, but I
Yeah,
doubt it,
that's true.
right? Or I've had experience with people who have really tried to hire virtual assistants
Oh
many
yeah,
times and it
yeah.
fails because they spend so much time telling them what to do
Oh
and
yeah,
they're not doing
yeah,
it right that it doesn't work out. They feel like it's a
yeah,
waste. Well, that's because you haven't really made clear expectations to what they
yeah.
need to do. So that's where maybe you could bring me in on a
Exactly,
project to say, let's document what you want them to
exactly,
do, and then you can train them on the documentation.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
um, everything matters about what goals you want at a certain time in your
Yeah,
business, right? And
exactly.
I mean, if investing means that you are going to be homeless, or investing means that you're going to not eat for a couple days, then don't do it. Right? Obviously. So
Yeah.
yeah, e- everyone is at
Yes.
different points in their business, and everyone at different financial capabilities for sure. Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's where, I love the opportunity just to talk to people to see, what are their
oh yeah,
challenges,
oh
right? It
yeah,
really is like,
yeah,
what's your challenge in your
yeah,
business? And obviously, how can I
yeah,
help? And if I can't help, obviously, I'm not going to sell it that I
yeah,
can. But how can I help you or find the right person to
yeah.
help you? I think that's huge,
Exactly.
right? It's also that using your network to
Oh yeah.
help other people
Oh
solve
yeah.
their
Yeah, for
problems.
sure.
Yeah.
Here's spot on, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Oklahoma.
Um,
Like, if it ain't broke, don't
exactly.
fix it. But then they hit a ceiling and don't understand why they can't grow.
Yeah, yeah,
Amen.
that's so
Yes.
true.
Now let somebody do your
Yeah,
social media. Now let
exactly.
somebody manage your
Right.
calendar and your inbox.
Exactly.
And now you can focus on reaching out to that many more
Exactly.
clients. But until you let that go, you can't scale your
Exactly.
business
Exactly.
100%.
So thank you so much, Heather, for joining us. Um, we want to collaborate with you, Heather, in terms of helping the Social Tiger clients, perhaps, and we
Mm,
are going to see how we can collaborate in the future with Heather as well. Um, um, I didn't ask Heather, but I don't think that she would be opposed. Maybe, maybe not. But but yeah, I'm looking forward to really delving into your insights. Maybe at a later date for you to come on again. Because I think this is
sure.
an important discussion that needs to be addressed constantly. I think to the business owners. And so please, for the 20 people who are watching right now, please let us know where you're from. If you have any questions or if you want to get in touch with Heather, please go to her profile. Um, oh yeah, you had a website, right? Just let me look it up here. Okay.
Yep.
Um,
Yes.
Lotus.
It's lotusoms
Okay,
dot com.
lotusoms.com. Okay,
Doc?
cool.
Yeah.
Just let me copy and paste it in the chat here.
Awesome.
So please connect with Heather. She does not bite only
I
on
do.
weekends. Only on weekends.
Unless you ask. Yep.
She's full service that way, right?
Yeah.
Only when you ask. So yeah. Let's see here. So
That's good. Thanks,
and
Jordan.
yeah, great conversation. So yeah, perhaps uh, we can meet and discuss some awesome collaborations in the future, Heather. And thank you so
Yeah.
much. Again, this is Heather's website. Go check it out. See how she can help you. And any final thoughts or any thoughts on how you will crush your goals in 2025, Heather?
So for me, I think I mentioned earlier that I'm not a
Yeah,
marketer. So I am focusing on my sales skills or
yeah,
my
that's good.
marketing skills because I love
Yeah,
talking to people
yeah,
like this. But that's something that
that's good.
I'm working on. So I have invested
Wow, amazing.
in that
Yeah,
program.
good.
Yes. And some professionals to help me out with that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm still always tweaking my niche, and who I'm
Yeah,
focusing
yeah.
on. So, but right now, again, my business is to help people and businesses thrive. So honestly, I just love talking to people, and if I can help, I
Okay,
will. So
awesome,
happy to
awesome.
chat.
So any ending thoughts of um how to streamline processes and how important it is?
Well, it's very important. Again, streamlining, but making sure they're efficient and making sure the person who's doing the task really has a say in how that process
Nice,
is executed,
nice.
right? If you tell them how to do it, but you've never really done it before, you need to get their involvement. So I think, Jordan, you mentioned something about the collaboration with
Mm,
your teams. Maybe not on like end
yeah,
decision makings, but how things are
exactly,
executed. Go to the
exactly,
experts. Your team members are the experts and they will appreciate being asked.
exactly. Okay, Heather. Well, thank you so much again. Please contact Heather if you want to be streamlined in your business, and
People
she'll
support.
lead the way. And no doubt about it, she has all this experience. She's worked with many companies, helping them, and just pure results with her. Awesome. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, guys.